Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Shots Live. This week, we're working on the 1971 Corvette. We're going to get it out of the basement, and we're going to get working on the carburetor. Don't get choked up. Stick with me. Stupid. Welcome to my life. Good morning, YouTube. It's an early Saturday morning, and today's project, hopefully, is to get this car, the Corvette, out of the basement. There is an issue that I got to get fixed real quick, and that's this steering coupler right here. It's shredded. And I don't know why it's shredded, but it was always kind of weird. I don't know if they might have sandblasted it in the car when they did the. I don't know. They wouldn't have sandblasted this. So I don't know. So I'm gonna have to tear this apart and put the new coupler in there and then figure it out from there what's going on. But yeah, so there's that. I did get a new kit. It comes as a kit because I was like, man, how do you get the parts and pieces out of there? It comes as a kit, so I'll open this up, figure this out. We'll take that one out, or take that one out and then take this part, figure it out, and put this one in, and we'll go from there. But I gotta have steering to get it out of here because it's gonna be a pain. Yeah, I gotta move all this junk. I gotta get my trash out of here anyway, but the tub needs to go to the other side out of the way, and then I'll get the dollies and we'll move all this table and all this stuff, and then roll it over here and then try to get out the door. It just barely fits out the door, and of course we don't want to scratch it, so this is gonna be quite the project. I'm sure it's gonna take most of the morning to do this, but it's time, and we got to get it out there so I can get it fixed. There's just not enough light down here. I was gonna leave it down here for temperature, but space and light, it'd just be easier to work out up there, I think. So in the garage, and that's where all my tools are now. I don't know. All right, so let's get busy. I'm gonna replace this, get this thing out of here, this coupler out of here, and we'll go from there. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes. I had to actually cut those knobs off to get that rubber off there. They were pressed in, and then after I cut them, I had to get a punch and then try to punch them out. It was a pain. Anyway, in the meantime, now I got to figure out how this all goes back together because the parts they give you are different than the parts that came with it. But I'm sure we'll figure it out. Yeah. So let me get working on figuring out what goes where, and then we'll go from there. All right, this kit from Zip Corvette, the replacement one, it's pretty neat, but there are some things I don't like about it. They give you a assortment of bolts, but on one side I've got to use one that I like, just bolts on the back side. But they didn't send you two. The other one is pressed, so I got to hammer that in, press it in, and then screw the knob to the other side. I don't really care for that. I wish they'd have the two like this, and then they just give you regular old bolts for the other two to connect, which makes sense to me. I mean, I don't know why they weren't all 4 bolts that way to begin with, but this is neat. This will work just fine, and I'll bolt the other two together. Let's get this thing back in the car so we can get this thing out. All right, so it went in real easy, actually. It went in easier than it came out. I am going to have to revisit it because I don't like the way that the punched one in doesn't go all the way in. I don't like that, so I'm going to take that one out. But I'd probably put that big one in there if it'll fit. Now that I'm looking at it, it probably does. And then I added washers to both sides of the bolts just because I didn't want it to rip through, and I don't have any of the metal supports. They're all rusted out, or you can't get them apart. Over here, I got one off. The rest of them, well, the other ones I ground off, and they're just rusted together. So I used washers instead of that, but and I need to put a ground wire across from one side to the other. So I'll do all that, but this will get it good enough to get it out of the garage and out of the basement and into the garage. All right, so I've been working down here, got a lot of stuff cleaned up, which needed anyway. We moved the table to the other side of the room, and then I'll move the shower over there that we're gonna put in down here in the basement. I'll need to move the hard top out here. I got the trash cleaned up, but I'm gonna save those 2 boxes to move the parts out to the garage I brought the side-by-side around, and it's got the carts in it, so we'll get the carts up underneath the Corvette, and we'll start trying to adjust her around that room. I got my Bubba rope for pulling. If you haven't checked them out, they're pretty good. They have a give to them, so they don't just jerk very hard. So really great when you're towing. Yeah, I'll get these in there and get this car jacked up, and we'll go from there. I got the time-lapse camera going inside there, so you should be able to see mostly what's going on. All right, well, let me get to work. All right, so now I have lots of room for activities. That definitely makes a lot of space down here. I mean, we needed to move all that stuff out of here to keep the flooring going across the basement and get it over here. She's pulled out we've actually bought shelving and all that stuff and built a storage room in the very back. And she's going through 30 years worth of just junk that we've accumulated. You know, when you move every 2 years or whatever, a couple years, whatever, in the military, you just throw stuff in boxes and sometimes you never see it again for years. So probably half that stuff we don't need. So we're gonna go through it and, or she's already started, but go through it and get rid of the stuff that we just don't need to hang on to anymore. And that'll allow us to keep the floor going across this way as well, and which we need to get going. And still got the tractor tires and that's the shingles for the roof. We need to get that done too. That's another thing, but we're putting a new front porch on, or in addition to the front porch on, to break up that roof line. Anyway, project after project after project, but anyway, this is a good one. Getting this out of here, getting it in the garage. I was gonna try to work on it down here, but it's so dark after you get used to working in that bright lights up there. I couldn't video. I mean, the videos are just terrible, the quality, because of the lighting. So it'll be good. I mean, I'll have to work through some of the cold, whatever, in the winter, but it won't be that bad. Not bad. Well, I sure need to clean it though. I'll probably wash it before I put it in there. But here's one of those scratches that there's a scratch there and there's some here from parts or something being on top of it. Maybe they can fix that. I don't know. There's one there too. And I think there's one up here on the hood somewhere. Yeah, right there. So there are some blemishes on her. Hopefully a paint shop maybe will just fix that without having to reshoot the whole thing. We'll see what happens. But anyway, it's more of a go to the Dairy Queen on Saturday kind of car. It's not a show car by any means. And you know, there was a time in my life where I liked show cars. The problem with me and show cars is if I have one that's well done with, I won't drive it, I won't use it. Whereas if I have one that has a couple scratches on it, then I tend to use them. So so it's kind of good in this point in my life. I'm more of a driver nowadays than I am a fix it up and make it showy. Now I just enjoy looking at them really and driving them around. So hopefully I get this one running soon. We'll see. All right, I know I just mentioned this, but I was just straightening this rope out and I just wanted to give them a little credit. These bumper ropes, man, they are just awesome. I mean, I hooked up with the nylon. I mean, basically nylon. I don't know what's made of. I'm assuming nylon, but I don't really know. But but it's like feels soft, like a soft nylon. Anyway, I hooked this sucker right up to that car frame, and of course, no damage at all. You're not hooking metal hooks or anything like that. And then this just is such a gentle pull. Their actual rope, you can't beat them. Can't beat them. So yeah, I just wanted to throw a shout out to them. They're not paying me or anything like that. I just like them. My cousin actually. I think is a sales guy for these anyway, but yeah, good company, good rope. Thought I'd mention it. All right, again, not getting paid at all. Bobby, you need to pay me for my commercial I just did. All right, so I call that a successful day. We got her in here. Been in the basement forever. We actually got our little wash down, rinse down anyway. I don't really know my wash, but it was just so covered in dust and stuff for me in the basement, so we got her rinsed off. Again, she's not a show car, but she'll do fine for going to Dairy Queen and stuff like that on the weekends or whatever. So anyway, a lot more light up here. Of course, I can crawl on the floor here. Just a lot, not dark and dingy. I mean, the basement's not dingy or anything, but it's just darker down there, and you just can't see. So it'll be nice. Tools are all, of course, in here and everything. So yeah, we'll get working on her. All right, well, I'm gonna let this floor dry off. I'm gonna go run the grass off the tires. I started washing it on the driveway and it's grassy everywhere. Then I'll get the cameras together and yeah, I got the fan going, dry the floor out. And yeah. All right, so I will see you guys in a bit. Good day. Love that the car's in here. Good morning. All right, so it's been a busy morning around here. I did a lot of cleaning and straightening up and whatever. Yeah, I mean, so I went in the basement and I got a lot of the parts, not all the parts, all the big stuff like the console and all that I left down in the basement, which I will need eventually, but right now I'm going to focus on the motor and trying to get everything done in the engine compartment. But anyway, I got everything kind of laid out, all my bolts and stuff so I can find them, and then I just kind of spread out across the trailer as well. Lots of stuff. I'll start knocking out some of the bigger stuff so the parts go away, but yeah, there you go. So I just had a mess. I mean, even my tool tray was just full, so I needed to put stuff away. So I just started cleaning and straightening and whatever. You know, just too many projects going on at one time and not keeping up very well. But we did make quite the large space in here to work on the Corvette, so that's really nice. And I didn't realize by readjusting like this that I'd have this much more space. The only problem is I can't just jump in the truck and go, which is something I really wanted, the old truck, because I really like driving it and, you know, whatever. Probably if I backed the $10 boat up some more and readjusted everything in the corner, I get the dump truck all the way against the wall. Then I probably can get the other truck, the old truck, in front of it, and then I can put all the other stuff side by side and tractor beside it. But this is working out. I can get the easy access to the tractor, the excavator, and the side-by-side, just not the old truck, which I really like driving. Anyway, third world problems, right? Grateful to have a building. I had easy access to everything before when it was all sitting outside, so I should shut up. And anyway. So yeah, this morning is going to be kind of slow. I don't even know how to video this, you know. There's a lot going on here. I'm going to start down here on these old fuel lines. I've got the new fuel lines in, so I'm probably going to take those off and then go ahead and connect those so they're ready to go. And then I think I'm just going to kind of work my way up. There's also the main fuel line that comes from the other side of the pump that comes up to the carburetor. So I'm probably going to put that in there. I got the bolts for the carburetor, so I'll get the front bolts in and get that locked down. Then I got the booster for the brakes, and I think I'll just kind of work that way around. I do have the pulleys and all for the front of this, but I don't really want to do that until I get all my hoses figured out and connected and whatever. Yeah, I didn't even know that wasn't on. That's probably so I could get to the fuel pump, but I'll get that all connected. I definitely need to go over everything and make sure everything's tightened, so that's kind of, you know, not really film worthy. And then I think once I get the mechanical pieces put back together, then I'll start back on the wiring. You know, I was doing wiring, but then I needed these, and so I'd order those. A lot of the guys don't use these anymore because it really just drains on the car for chokes it back for cold starts, I guess. A lot of guys aren't doing that. Again, how to film this, I don't know, because I'm so random. I go from one thing to the next, you know. I did get this in here, and it's tightened up. I'll need to tighten it up some more. Not really sure I'm digging this as much as I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure something out going on here, but I did put this in. I still need to put a ground from one side to the other side, this to this, so that the horn is grounded on that. So I'll do that sometime before I get too far. Like, I need to do that before I do the booster, yada yada. But I need to do these if they're in there. Yeah, there's a sensor there. Yeah, so there's one there that I'll need to do before I put the booster on. So what I'll do is the two sides, so I got easy access to that one, I guess. So I'll do the 2 side sensors, and then I'll order another one of those. And but that way I need to get the stuff down below done first, work my way up. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So lots going on. You know, the tough thing about this is I did part of it. Well, the first guy did part of it, the second guy did part of it, and now I've got it. And so trying to figure through everything and where they were, where I was. And I haven't worked on it in 7 years, right? Other than a little bit here and there, but not really. So we'll have to get everything figured out and get going. So yeah, let me get busy. Hey, I wanted to show you this. This is that old steering coupler. Look at that. I mean, it just ripped through. That's wild. Yeah. All right, well, today is not going like I planned it at all, as per normal. So I got the old fuel lines off. The camera died in the middle of that, so whatever. For some reason, the batteries didn't charge last night. But I got them off. And then I started to cut, well, actually, I didn't start to. I cut new fuel lines, but I don't have clamps for them. And then I went up to look up the clamps, and the old clamps don't fit these. So anyway, I just went on Zip Corvette and ordered new lines. Or I have them in the cart anyway. And then I was like, well, the fuel pump, I couldn't get the hard line off the bottom. I mean, and I'm bending the metal on the bottom of the fuel pump trying to get that off, so it's just not gonna come off. So I'm just gonna order a new fuel pump. It's like $34 or something. And I don't really like this water pump, right? You know, water pumps, and that's pretty bad shape. So I just went ahead and ordered a new water pump as well. So we're kind of out of this section for a while. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try to get the sensor out of down there and get the new sensor in there, and the one on the other side. I also ordered another sensor for the one on the top here, which is easy to get to. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna switch gears and put the bolts in the front of the carburetor because it still needs them, and then torque those down. And then I will go. Let's see. I think I ordered the clamp for this, so I need to see if I got the clamp for that and get that on there. I think I ordered it. And then I'll get the throttle cable on because I got those parts. Once I get the carburetor set, I'll get that on there and work this line over to the brake booster. I think that all goes kind of together, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, not what I was planning this morning, but whatever. I mean, you got to kind of go with the blows when you're rebuilding a car. I mean, it just happens like that. It's just the way it is. All right, so I'm gonna get something done this day besides ordering parts, man. Goodness gracious. I think these are supposed to be the ones that go in there. Come on, don't tell me these are the wrong ones too. Goodness gracious. All right, that one's catching. All right, let me get a ratchet and we'll get those down. Try to get something done today. Half inch, yeah. Yeah, I never cranked this down before. Doesn't have the right bolts. And when I got the kit, it had half the right bolts in it and not the other bolts. Let's see. Very good. We got something done today at least. All right. I'm going to go ahead and try to get that cable bracket on there for the throttle cable, I think. Because I got that in. Hey, we got one thing done today anyway. If we get two things done, I guess I'm in good shape, right? All right, there's a little bracket we were missing. So I got that in. Let's see. There's a little clamp for that somewhere. Right there for the throttle cable. There's the carburetor return spring. Let's see, that's all master cylinder stuff. That's all we had for this. I wonder if I have the bolts to bolt it down though. You know, they should offer you that stuff when you're, I don't know. They should offer you that stuff when you buy a part. They should say, hey, do you want this, this, and this? So I'm assuming it's going to go something like that, but let me find it in the book and then I'll get back with you guys. All right, so I went out to a Corvette forum and figured out how this bracket goes on there, and it goes right here. Of course, I just tightened that up. That's funny. So I'll have to loosen this up and take this bolt off or nut off, and then put this on right there. No big deal. I just got done tightening it up. It's just silly. Oh well. Then while I was looking, there's a plate that I was trying to identify, and I saw it in the book, and it actually goes up underneath this booster on the steering column. So that's going to be fun getting that in there with the booster in there. So I don't know why they didn't put it in there before they put the booster in there, but it is what it is. We'll get it figured out. All right, let me get the this washer off here, and we'll go from there. Great camera work on my part there. Yeah, that makes sense because that's going to bolt to that. Yeah, very good. Very good. That's not the bolt that came off there. As I say, that's dirty. I had a brand new bolt. There it is. All right, let me get that tightened down there, and then we'll be good to go with that. All right, we're back in business. All right, well, we got step 2 done today. All right, I know I got a return spring that goes here, and I think I got that. I think I ordered that. Yeah, carburetor return spring, so there we go. Let's get this put on there. All righty. Bang, we got a carburetor return spring. Hey, we're cooking with fire now. The clip goes all the way down there on the end. How does that booster line come off there? This one may not have a booster on it. It may not have a power. Visit the site and pull this up and see what I can find here. See, whatever this is coming off the front, I don't have that either. So I'm gonna have to look into what that is on the front there. All right, so this picture, they don't have the brake booster in there coming off the back. They do, but it goes way behind there. It's a different one. It comes way back behind here. So it must not be the same year Corvette as mine. So let me see if I can figure that out. But I mean, obviously it's going to go to that bolt right there, probably on the outside of the clip. And then it looks like it clips around this right here. So I'll need to go there, pull that back to there, clip that in. All right, well, let me find a place for the camera and I'll do that. Whoa, don't lose bolts now, buddy. Don't lose bolts now, buddy. All right, so I think that should go on the outside of this clip. This clip should go here, that should go there. And I don't know if I can put it in there and just leave it loose and then slide that in there, or if that's gonna work or not. We're gonna try that though. It's almost too much going on there. All right, so that gets it started. Pull this sucker back, pop it in there, and then we just tighten it down. And for the first time in years, we'll have an accelerator cable. Let's see, how do we want this to go back here though before we tighten it? It seems kind of sloppy there. Let's see, I can track that around. These are just wires going there. I can tuck this around underneath there. And then that can just kind of flow behind here and into there. So I think I'm glad I did that. Just it gives you so much more cable when you pull it back to here. Excess cable. And of course my little mounts are right in the way there. So let me go get a not deep well socket. All right, let's try this again. All right, that's good and tight. So now I have an accelerator cable. Yay! Let me pull this off. All right, that's good. I like that. Return spring. Right, we got the bracket, return spring, and the clamp on this on. Now let's tighten this up here. And just so I don't forget to come back and tighten this up. Now, it'd be helpful if I use the wrench in the right direction that the wrench was made to work in. All right, that's good. All right, there the vacuum line is hooked up for the booster, so that's good. All right, everybody, as I edit this video, we're at the 30-minute mark, so we're gonna call it a day. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.